Good morning, hello and welcome. My name is Bhuvan for StudyIQ IAS English. This is the Indian Express Explain class. Can we get started? All right. So the three topics that I have for you. Number one is to do with the solar tubes. Now this is a new concept, but this has gained a lot of acceptance, okay? And this is to do with again environmental sustainability, energy efficiency, okay? So we need to know from the examination perspective, absolutely desired that you should have a fair idea of what solar tubes are, okay? Number two, thereafter we'll go and understand about space, more specifically about the European Space Agency's Euclid mission, okay, the Euclid telescope. How is it, say, an upgrade from, say, the James Webb Space Telescope or the Hubble telescope? All of that we'll seek to understand. The Gaia telescope, all these deep space missions that are there. How is Euclid an upgrade? We'll seek to understand that. And number three, since I couldn't help it, today early this morning it has been raining in NCR. And well, the obvious connotation is that if it rains after monsoon season in NCR or say in the western part of India, then it has to do with, as a geography student you must have understood, it is to do with western disturbances. So let's go ahead and revise western disturbances. Why not? Okay. Coder, Rajan, Sriram, Bhageshri, good morning guys. Thank you once again for joining, all of you. Thanks so much. Okay. Let's get started. If you want to access the PDF of this entire lecture, you will find it uploaded on the Telegram channel. I upload it normally around say noon. Okay. Access it from there. Right. The first topic. We are going to learn about solar tubes. So if you are fed up with your energy bills, if you are not one of those few states that gets free electricity, then here is say an alternative that you can go ahead and consider. Okay. The solar tubes. Now what does it do? Most simply put, okay, if you have a house or an office building, right, obviously you'll have a roof. You go ahead and well, install this on your roof. Okay. Thereafter, you go ahead and connect it to a say periscope like thingy. Understand it as simple as that. Lakshmi, good morning, how are you? Okay. And then you go ahead and have a diffuser in your rooms. You are using essentially the sun's light to light up the interior of your house. Simply put, that is a solar tube. Okay. A device used to bring natural sunlight into the interior spaces. So you might have say a dark room or a dark alley inside your house, right? So if you want to go ahead and light it up naturally, a solar tube would be most advisable. Okay? It can be energy efficient, as you must have understood. Since you're not using say hydroelectricity, coal electricity, you are using the sun's irradiance. Okay? You're using the sun's energy to go ahead and light your own room. So it is energy efficient, obviously eco-friendly. 100%. Okay? The only say ecologically little sensitive area could be the kind of components that you use to go ahead and design this tunnel. Otherwise, it's an eco-friendly process. Okay? It offers a sustainable alternative to domestic energy that is clean and green. Now we need to understand the pros and cons. So first, apply your common sense. Okay? If you are going ahead and powering something by your sun, right, which means that when the sun is not there, say during night, or when you have cloudy weather, bad weather, yeah, your house is going to be dark. So how do you go ahead and combat that problem? Is there a solution around that problem? Obviously. Okay. So let's go ahead and understand that one by one, but this is the primary crux of the matter. This is essentially your solar tube. Now, how does it function? So have a look at these two GIFs that I've got for you. So you go ahead, capture your sunlight and then tunnel it. Okay. You are tunneling it. Finally, you have a diffuser here and thus you find that you go ahead and light up your room. Right. So if I want to go ahead and identify the key components, what is needed in terms of having a solar tube in my house, what all are the things that I need? So I need to go ahead and capture my sunlight. Thereafter that, I need to go ahead and transmit or transfer my sunlight. And thereafter that, I need to have an output, right, which should be little diffused. Because eventually, if you are going ahead and capturing the sunlight with its own intensity, right, you could have solar glare inside your house. It could be too bright. So you go ahead, just reduce the intensity of the light, diffuse it a little bit. Three components to solar tubes. Simply put, you go ahead, capture the sunlight, transfer it through a tunnel, and then transmit it to the rest of your building, to the rest of your house. So the components, number one. So if this is where I am capturing, for example, this is my capturing unit. Then after that, this is my transferring unit. And eventually, you found that this is your diffusing unit. 3 units are there. Okay? So the most important bit, the tubes or the transferring unit, that has to have some properties. What properties would you have? Now apply your common sense, guys. You need to have minimal loss of light here, right? What's the point if you go ahead and lose all your solar light here, right? Which means what? You need to have the solar tubes or the transferring unit to have good reflective capacity. It should be able to go ahead, transfer the sunlight to this diffusing unit, thereby giving you the intensity in your house that you so require. Correct? Not very difficult. Now the outer end of the solar tube, which means the one at the top of your house, at the roof, okay, that is usually sealed with a weatherproof plastic dome. Okay, it's a dome. Why? So as the maximum surface area to capture the maximum amount of sunlight. Yes, wouldn't you agree? This gives me the maximum chance of capturing sunlight, given that the sun also moves, say, this way. Correct? The interior facing, you need to have a diffuser. You don't want solar glare in your house, common sense. Okay, so which means you need to diffuse your sunlight, the intensity of sunlight, so that you have a warm hue, a warm color inside your house. Okay? The tubes need to have a shiny interior that reflects like light back and forth. Thus you want to do is tunneling your light. This entire sequence, no, where you capture your sunlight and then transfer it to the diffusing unit. This is known as tunneling of my sunlight. Okay. Now you have different names for this, by the way. Okay. But from the exam perspective, understand that there is one difference I want you to capture straight away. Okay. There is one thing called solar tubes that we are discussing. Okay. And the other is skylights. Okay. We'll take a look at both of them so that that concept is clear for you. So what is the difference between solar tube? A solar tube is smaller, right? This is your capturing unit, your transferring unit, and your diffuser. Whereas a skylight, if you have ever been to, say, a heritage building or one of these new buildings that comes up, yes, you will see that they have glass paneling on the roof, right? And the glass paneling allows the filtration of natural light right up till, say, the ground level. So that is the skylight. Whereas a solar tube is much more smaller in dimension. Okay? Right? Let's look at the advantages and disadvantages, quite simply put. Number one, easy to maintain and low maintenance, as you must have guessed. All you need are 3 units: capture, transfer, diffuse. Okay? Not a lot of, say, engineering is required. Glare regulation. What is solar glare? That bright intensity of light that almost blinds you. You know, that glare has to be avoided. For that you have the diffuser. Okay. Ecologically sustainable, since you're not burning any coal, you're not running any hydroelectric power. You are just capturing the solar energy. Bulbul, good morning. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Are you able to grasp how simple a concept this is? Okay. And obviously you get design flexibility, because all you need is, say, a dome shaped capturing unit. You can go ahead and, well, design it in whichever way you want, so as to suit the aesthetics of the house, right? So for all you guys who are very particular about how my house should look, how the roof of my house should look also, well, that flexibility is provided. But the cons. Now the cons, number one, when it is night time, you don't get sun. When it is bad weather, you don't get sun. So what do you do then? Do you stay in and sit in complete darkness and light up a candle? No, there is a way around that. Okay. So bad weather, night time, there is an alternative. We'll discuss the alternative. Now the roof slope should be between 50 to 16 degrees. Why is that? Because flat surfaces, right? You are going to have to again have a little bit of mechanics to capture the sunlight and then transfer it. A sloped roof gives you larger angle of inclination in terms of the sun's rays that you will capture. So a sloped roof is desirable. It's not that it is the only condition, but it is one of the conditions that should be fulfilled, right? Limited style of design, because once again, if it is a sloped roof and if it is a flat roof, we are looking at 2 different designs that will come up. And obviously for those of you civil engineers, well, that is one factor that you must consider, that it could affect the structural integrity of the roof, given that, well, our buildings may not be the most scientifically prepared and managed at times. How prudent will it be to go and do chhed with the roof? Yes. So the structural integrity is also one thing that you should consider. Now I discuss this alternative, guys. कि रात में क्या करोगे? Or what happens if it is bad weather, cloudy weather, as it is in NCR this morning? It's raining, the air is breathable, huh? Life is fine again. Okay. So what do? Essentially, to go ahead and get around this problem, you integrate your solar tube, okay, and you have a photovoltaic cell. Okay. This combination gives you AC current or DC current. Quickly let me know. This combination gives you DC current, and all you need is to convert this DC current into AC so as to use it in your house. So you can have an alternative addition to solar tubes so as to make it completely ecologically sustainable and energy efficient. Okay. This is step 1 in getting so far as in natural sunlight 24 hours is concerned. Now I told you a difference between solar tubes and skylights. Okay. Like I told you, solar tubes are smaller, whereas skylights are much more bigger in dimension. Okay. For example, let's look at these two particular figures that I have for you. So you see these particular things that you see on the top of the building, the glass paneling that lets the entire sunlight filter inside your house. So this is essentially a skylight. Okay. Please do not get confused between solar tubes that rely on the tunneling of sunlight so as to go ahead and give you the intensity that is regulated by the diffuser so that you have light inside your house, so sun's light inside your house. None of that is done in skylight. It is just glass paneling that allows the entire sunlight to filter through. Easy concept, guys. If you understood what solar tubes are, what's the difference between solar tubes and skylights, and say what are the different components, pros, cons of solar tubes, don't hold back. Go ahead and leave me a like. I'll be greatly thankful to you for your consideration. But before that, go ahead and answer these questions for me also. Question number 1. Integration of photovoltaic cells with solar tubes can help in generating electricity while streaming sunlight. True or false? And statement 2. The electricity so generated will need to be converted from direct current to alternating current. Okay. So is it true or not? If you listen to my lecture very, very carefully, I choose my words very carefully. If you listen to my lecture, you should be able to answer this in a jiffy. Okay, your neighbor, good morning, welcome guys. Thanks to all of you for joining this morning. Okay, this is question 1 and question 2. It is the power per unit area. Biggest hint for this question. Okay, power per unit area received from the sun in the form of electromagnetic radiation. What am I talking about? Is it solar insolation, solar irradiance, solar electricity, or all of the above? Okay. You will leave your answers for me in the comment box like you always do, and we will discuss the answers in the next class. Okay? Right? This was topic number 1, solar tubes that we discussed. It's a new emerging concept, and the examination loves new emerging concepts, which means you ought to love it too. Okay? And this is the primary focus of the Prelims to Interview Initiative 2, where we go ahead, make sure that the student has his or her conceptual clarity on point, and more importantly, the question solving ability should come naturally. You know, in my limited experience, what I found is that just say the day before prelims, okay, if you go ahead and compare the knowledge level of serious aspirants, and I'm using the word serious aspirants, you will see that almost all of them are on almost an equal band. Okay, maybe 5-10% aage piche, but not a lot. But it's the question solving ability where students have a lot of difference. Someone must have come practicing, say having practiced 10,000 MCQs. Someone must have seen, say, 500 MCQs only. Therein is the divergence, therein is the demarcation between a successful candidate who clears prelims and someone who probably is going to appear again. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and understand, become a part of the Prelims to Interview Initiative. Okay. It handholds you not just for the prelims. You get a lot of information, lot of handholding, guidance, notes, crux, PPT. Okay. Doubt resolution sessions, all of that are included, not just for prelims, but also for mains. And obviously for the interviews, you go ahead and interact with some of the finest bureaucrats of this country who will basically sharpen you, chisel you to become that officer-like quality that UPSC so desires. Okay. So, well, it's closing fast. I'm told that only a few seats are left. Go ahead and look at the language of your choice, English, bilingual or Hindi, and use the code BA Live, my friends. Why? Because if you want to go ahead and learn with me, yes, I'm responsible for geography, I'm responsible for CSAT, among other subjects. Well, this is the code to use. You get allotted to my batch, and obviously you get a huge discount too, right? The second topic for you, my friends. Now look at these pictures, okay? These pictures have come last evening, okay? Ekdam naya naya, fresh off the oven picture say. So what you find is that the European Space Agency's Euclid mission, okay, which was, by the way, launched not too long ago. I think it was launched this year in June from Cape Canaveral in Florida, right? So this has gone ahead and sent its first pictures from space, okay, the Euclid mission. So you're looking at, well, galaxies, you're looking at, well, Horsehead Nebulae, all of that have been sent, and with extreme clarity, by the way, okay. Have a look at the pictures for you. So apparently, and now I'm no expert at this, but what you find is that this entire picture holds the information of up to 10,000 galaxies, right? Now this has never happened before in human history. Yes, we have had, say, telescopes that have gone ahead, okay, say James Webb telescope number 1, okay, James Webb, or you also have the Hubble telescope, okay, or you have the Gaia telescope. By the way, for those of you who have been regular watchers of this Indian Express series that comes to you every morning at 7, you will know that in the past we have discussed extensively on Lagrange points, especially when Aditya L1 mission was in the news. And that time I had told you that, well, any deep space telescope is designed and is most useful when you go ahead and place it at a particular Lagrange point, that is the L2 point, okay. For example, if I were to go ahead and explain it to you in the most simplest manner, this is the Earth, this is the Sun, right? Your L2 point would be just behind the Earth. Why is that? Because, well, this gives you a zone of shadow, right? Any other place that you put, so your L1 is here, your L3 is here, right? Your L4 and L5 are at 60 degrees. We have discussed this in the past. L2 is the only place where you are protected from the, say, direct rays of the sun. This allows you to look deep into space. Why? Any other place, it's like looking into a torch. Think of this. If I go ahead and shine, if it's a dark room, yes, and I shine a torch right at your face, are you going to be able to observe anything in this room? Even with, say, a very strong telescope, chances are next to minimal. Which means you need a zone of darkness, and that zone of darkness is created here. Okay, this is my zone of darkness, and this is where all my deep space telescopes are lodged. Okay? So this is where my Euclid mission, the Euclid telescope, has also been launched. All three, in fact, are found in the L2 position, as common sense would tell me. Correct? So let's look at Euclid's first images. Okay, the European Space Agency's mission. First full colored images of the cosmos. This is what you're looking at. Okay, it's designed to explore the composition and evolution of dark universe, and more specifically understand dark energy. What is dark energy? Simply put, it is the energy that is expanding my universe. It is going ahead and stretching my universe. What is it all about? Scientists have been trying to figure out for long. Yes, we know that the universe is expanding. Okay, we have ample evidence to go ahead and tell me that my universe is expanding. This question was asked, by the way, by UPSC in the year 2012. And this is what the scientists are looking to study. Okay, so for example, you are looking at cosmic microwave background radiation. This is one of the evidences that tells me that yes, my universe is expanding. I'm looking at gravitational waves and ripples that are created. Yes, this is also an evidence of, say, how my universe is expanding. And for those of you who have gone through your, say, solar system class in detail, you will know my redshift, blue shift phenomenon. Okay, redshift, when someone goes away from me. Blue shift, something comes away towards me. This happens where? In the electromagnetic spectrum, the VIB-GYOR that you know of. Okay, this is what you're looking at. So your redshift phenomenon also another indication that my universe, my friends, is ever expanding. And this is what they're trying to learn. That yes, okay, my universe is expanding, but what is that fuel? What is that energy that is driving this process? Because for any particular movement, any particular expansion, reduction, compression, whatever be, the change of physical state or dynamics, you need certain amount of energy. Where is it coming from? Dark energy. And this is what they're trying to study. Okay. Now, more importantly from the just examination perspective too, and be aware of this, that the Euclid mission in the year 2025 is going to provide you and I with an atlas, a map of the universe. It is going to go ahead and map the entire, say, cosmos that it can capture. This is coming in the year 2025. Okay. Now, what makes Euclid special? So you have James Webb, you have Gaia, you have Hubble telescope. Why is Euclid so important? Well, because this is giving us sharp, visible and infrared images. Up until now, the telescopes that have gone, consider it. You must have heard of, say, the SOHO project. When we were discussing, say, our Aditya L1 mission, we had understood that there is another project that is already there called the Solar Observatory that is launched by NASA. Okay, Aditya L1 is India's mission there. Now, you must have read that time that Aditya has got better cameras, and which is why it is going to give us better pictures. Whereas the SOHO that was launched quite a time ago does not have the same amount of, say, infrastructure, cameras, pixel quality that you and I both know of. It does not have that high, which is why Aditya L1 will give me better pictures. The same concept applied to Euclid also. Just that it has better camera, better telemetry, it will give us better pictures. Okay, right? So let's look at it. Euclid telescope. So you had the James Webb telescope that was launched by the NASA, by the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency. Okay. Now Euclid telescope expected to map a third of the extragalactic sky. So in spite of having such heavy focused cameras, all it is going to do, which is quite a lot by the way, is capture 1/3 of our extragalactic galaxy. And more importantly, this point is to be noted for you, that they are going to release the first map of the universe. Okay? First map for the universe is coming. More sky area than the Hubble Space Telescope. Very, very important. Okay? And what is the purpose of the Euclid mission? Therein is your answer. It is going to understand dark energy. What is causing this? What is the force that is causing my universe to expand? We have the evidences that tell me, yes, my universe is expanding. But what is causing it? Dark energy. What is dark energy? Well, Euclid will try and study that. Okay. So this is the latest update for you coming from the European Space Agency's website. Go ahead and answer these questions for me. ASAP, chop chop. Which Lagrange point? Oh, such an easy question I've put today. Do deep space telescopes operate from? Okay. I think you'll answer this even in your sleep now. We have done this so many times now. ऐसे ही कर दोगे आप. And question number 4, that's a PYQ from the year 2012, right? Which of the following is or are cited by the scientists as evidence of the continued expansion of universe? Don't mind the font. UPSC selects this font. It looks a little difficult to read, but I'm sure you will manage. Detection of microwaves, observation of redshift, movement of asteroids, occurrence of supernova. Select the correct answers. You will leave your answers for me in the comment box as you have been doing, my friends, so far. Okay? Let's see. Rahul, Rajan, good morning. Sriram, how are you? Veeran, welcome. Okay? Good. Let's keep going. Now, before I go to my third and final topic, here is this. If you haven't prepared your optionals so far, my friends, you are treading on a very thin line. You know, thin ice. Don't do that. Your selection is determined by your optionals. Okay, don't believe on what the rest of the Janta is doing. If you haven't prepared your optionals, you're thinking myopically. You're thinking just of the prelims. You're not thinking of the final civil list that comes out. Okay, go ahead and prepare your optionals. Be diligent, and if you are unable or say not able to do it, okay, go ahead and seek help. There's no shame in asking for help if you have expert help available, which is what is being offered by StudyIQ in the subjects PSIR, Sociology, Geography, Anthro, PABAD, History, Maths, Philosophy and Hindi Literature, right? Use the code BALIVE once again, you get a good discount. Plus you will see that, well, the mains test series, the test series that often is the pain point for students, well, that is included with this entire optional series, okay? 16th is when it is closing. Chop chop, oh my god, the prices are extremely low. Yeah, I've never seen this price offered before, so it's probably the Diwali sale. Yes, make the use of this. Make good use of this. Okay. For those of you who are, well, who are with me in the National Capital Region. Okay. So the last 2 weeks have been painful. 10 days have been extremely painful. And this morning brought some respite. Okay. It rained. In fact, it's still raining. As I was walking into the class, it's still raining outside. Why is that happening? Let's understand that. Simply put. Well, one of the reasons, the primary reasons, is the western disturbances that are created. What are western disturbances? As the name tells you, something is coming from the west. Right? Something is happening from the west. By the way, here is a small pointer for you. In geography, any of these directions that you see is the direction of the origin of that particular wind or that current. For example, you must have heard of, say, land breeze, sea breeze. Huh? So never get confused कि हवा कहाँ से कहाँ जा रहा है. You must be aware of this. Land breeze coming from land, sea breeze coming from sea. Okay. Similarly, western disturbances coming from west, easterlies coming from east. Okay. So western disturbances are called extratropical storms that originate in the Mediterranean. Now, why are they called extratropical? Well, not a lot of information required there. They're outside the tropics. You have extrajudicial killings. What does that mean? That it's not sanctioned by the judiciary. Similarly, extratropical means it's not a part of the tropics. Okay. So the extratropical storm originating from the Mediterranean, that brings sudden winter rain to, well, northwest part of India. Almost from, say, the entire of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, to even Meerut of Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Now you find that, well, most of the moisture is picked over the Mediterranean, the Caspian, the Black Sea, and then carried over. It starts to go ahead and, well, head towards India, and then thank God we have the Himalayas. Yes, you comes to the Himalayas, Himalayas provide a natural barrier, and thus you have rainfall. Okay, the storm encounters the Himalayas. Right? So the three things that you need to know here. One, firstly, it is coming from the Mediterranean side. It's extratropical in nature. Okay, it hits the Himalayas, and thus you have a barrier, and thus you have the shedding of the rainfall that is happening. This is my western disturbances. Now, is this a factor that comes in only during winters? No, of course not. This happens throughout the year, but is most prevalent during the winter season. Okay, more frequent and strong in the winter season. Please understand this. This is where the MCQ will test you. That if it uses the word only in your option, that western disturbances are only found in the, say, a winter season. Yes, please mark it wrong. Please remember this exact moment and mark it wrong, because, well, otherwise you will get it wrong, right? Okay, so the impact and significance, let's look at it. Number one, bring moderate to heavy rain in the low-lying areas, snow to mountainous areas of Indian subcontinent in the winters normally, which means my rabi crops, yes, they are going to be helped. But then too much of the rainfall is also bad. Too much of anything is bad. Too much of rainfall also will be bad. Yes. So if you have too much of rainfall comes, your rabi crops could also, it could be detrimental to them. It could lead to, say, mass crop failure also. Okay. Precipitation during the winter season. By the way, this is an absolute characteristic of the Mediterranean climate. Okay. The question that we are discussing, abhi ek question मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा. This came in the year 1999. And you will see that it gives you the monthly temperature chart and precipitation chart. Okay. And one of the key characteristics of Mediterranean type of climate is that you experience winter rainfall. Right. So this is, in fact, a characteristic of the Mediterranean type of climate. Okay. Obviously, you have rabi crops, which means wheat is going to be largely affected, and these are the conditions that you require. Okay. The indicators that tell you that the western disturbances are en route. Number one, you will have cloudy skies, warmer nights, and unexpected rain. Like it was unexpected this morning in the national capital region. Yes, choking for air, and then suddenly you find, oh, it's like Shimla and Darjeeling in the morning. Right? Okay. Let's look at this question, guys. This is a PYQ from the year 1999, by the way. And if you have not been preparing your PYQs, okay, I'll suggest specifically for geography. Go ahead and get yourself the questions from 1990 onwards up until 2023, and you will see that from, say, 1990 to 1999, even say to early 2000s, yes, these sorts of questions were quite common. You also had map-based questions that came with a mini-map, okay, and you need to be aware of how to deal with those questions. Given that UPSC throws a surprise at the candidates every year, this is one thing that I would definitely prepare, okay. So let's look at the temperature and rainfall data that is provided here, Jan to December, and you will tell me which climate does this entire data system relate to. Is it St. Lawrence type, China type, West European type, or Mediterranean type? Okay. The key area of your interest, should be this bit. These months should give you a basic hint of which particular climate is this. Okay? Don't worry if you're unable to grasp or if you're unable to answer this question. We will be discussing the approach you should take to answer such questions in the next Indian Express class that will be coming after Diwali's. Okay? Right? This was the brief but very important lesson that I had for you today. If you have any questions, go ahead and connect with me on my Instagram. Several of you are already in touch with me, and I hope that it will be of huge benefit to you in the run-up to UPSC CSE 2024. Now let's look at the questions of yesterday. Okay, come theory, questions ज़्यादा, ऐसे ही करना है. Okay, patents in India granted for the time period of, yesterday we discussed the evolution of the Indian patent regime, right from pre-independence up until the draft patent rules that have been released just in say September 2023. This entire scope, which I think would make for a very good mains question by the way, was discussed yesterday. And one of the key facts that we discussed was that patents in India are granted for a term of 20 years only. Okay. What is the name of India's first intellectual property mascot that has been launched by the Ministry of Commerce? Well, this was an easy one. If you have been reading your PIBs, Press Information Bureau, you will find that IP Nani was discussed. There was a huge campaign also. Yes. So as to go ahead and promote awareness. And this was the mascot that was doing it. IP Nani was the name of the mascot. Question number 3. Yesterday we looked at Supreme Court's and National Green Tribunal's guidelines for green crackers. We looked at the type of colors that come out of my crackers and the chemical composition of the cracker. Yes. Now you would have a fair idea. Say if you watch a yellow cracker, you would obviously know it's a sodium cracker or a sodium based cracker. Okay. So green crackers are completely environment friendly and allow for sustainable use? No. I told you yesterday at least 20 times that it's a misnomer. Okay, they are not exactly green. Okay, the funda is that you have more harmful chemicals that are replaced by less harmful chemicals. Does not mean that this is not going to kill you. Okay, obviously the name is a misnomer. Green crackers are not exactly environmentally sustainable also. So wrong. Okay, and green crackers have reduced emissions of particulate matter 2.5, 1.10 and SO2 and NO2 is correct. Absolutely. Okay, PM 2.5 and PM 10. Okay, so the correct statements here being only B. Which of the following is not a part of the AQI by CPCB? Now you know what I did this morning. I woke up and I first went to the CPCB's website, okay, Central Pollution Control Board's website, to go ahead and check the air quality index. Okay, so try and do this. Go and look at the actual source. The answer here is methane. Methane is not a part of the AQI by CPCB, as you can see here. Right, PM 2.5, PM 10, NO2, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, monoxide and ozone. Okay? Oh, by the way, even after such rainfall, we are still in the very poor severe category. So not a lot to celebrate, but yeah, the weather is nice. Okay. So the students, my friends who answered the questions correctly, Shubham, Durga, I have taken your suggestion into consideration. You will see some action on that soon. Pranjul, Neeraja, Pooja, Harshit, Bhagyashri, Rupash, Mandip Bhai, Akhil, Crystal, Koda, Vidit, Ayush, Gatso, Aditya, Target CSC, Akshay, Rahul. Good job guys. You know, I hope that you guys understand the approach that we take towards topics. You know, so if you were to go ahead and read the newspaper, you will spend what, 90 minutes? Here we are doing it in what, 30 odd minutes. And you're reading the most informative, most important news that is of value to you and the questions that could arise out of it. Okay. So if you resonate with the way we approach concepts here, go ahead and leave me a like. Share this with your friends who will find this useful. And on that note, I will end this class, but not before I wish each one of you my very best wishes for the upcoming festivities, the celebration of Diwali. May the upcoming year be full of light, illumination for you, be prosperous for you, and you achieve the goal that you have set out for. Okay? On that note, it's a wrap. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next class that will be coming to you after Diwali. Have a wonderful day ahead and a wonderful holiday ahead. Okay? Bye. All the best.